You just hit play on 10-Minute Tech Talks, business insights and growth hacks for the time-crunched entrepreneur. I'm Jonathan Kersting with the Pittsburgh Technology Council and TechVibe Radio, telling you the stories of Pittsburgh's most successful tech companies and the women and men behind them. So what if the secret to staying ahead in business isn't mastering every new technology, but learning how to adapt faster than it changes? Well, in this episode, my TechVibe Radio co-host and Tech Council CEO, Audrey Russo, and I talked to Michelle O'Neill, who is the Senior Director of Web Solutions and Delivery at Brunner. And Brunner is a marketing agency that's been fusing creativity and technology for decades now. Michelle shares how she carved her own path inside Brunner, what entrepreneurs can learn about agility and lifelong learning, and why she believes AI should be seen as a tool, never a replacement for human creativity and connection. So let's dive into this segment from my TechVibe Radio interview with Michelle. And if you have a few more minutes, be sure to listen to our entire TechVibe interview linked in the description. Before we left, we're really having so much fun talking, just learning about some of the trends and stuff like that, and just learning more about the company, how you guys operate, and I mean, the people you employ here. I mean, there's a lot going on here.
And we have some really smart, good people, which is just amazing. It makes all of our jobs so much easier.
It's such a joy when that happens, isn't it?
And your background is so cool because you don't bring the typical background that you would think someone in your position would bring.
Right. Yeah, I'm not a developer by nature.
We won't tell anybody.
Yeah. You know,
Audrey.
I know just enough to be dangerous.
Good.
And my team thinks that I have a super ability that I really can break pretty much almost anything. They find that as my superpower.
That's good QA stuff right there. Yeah, that's good.
I come up with a lot of weird use cases, and I can definitely break some things, so it's always good for us.
That's great.
But I started in account management, and so I learned the client side and really started to think about the client challenges and things like that. And then, websites, and we're talking a while ago, websites started to really become a focus and changing the evolution. And I was just interested, and I said, hey, I want to try that. And I talked to the Brunner leadership team at the time, and they allowed me to make my own career path, which was great. I mean, I think that's something that I've always been grateful for.
Yeah.
So I moved into digital project management and kind of learned all the hows, the whys, the what's, the technology. And so I think that perspective, because I'm not a developer, I bring a different perspective to some of the challenges that we're trying to solve. And we have the one way of thinking and then another way of thinking, and we always end up with a better solution because we've considered all sides.
Yeah, it's interdisciplinary, which is really great. So, so many people coming out of school now are wrestling with their own careers, particularly if they come out of marketing or they come out of computer science, they come out of industrial design. I mean, I'm trying to think of the things at one point, and engineering design, that people are trying to find their way when you combine artificial intelligence and you combine the fact that anyone can build anything. Forget the quality for a minute, but the ability to build anything. What kind of guidance would you give people as they navigate their way?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think, first of all, I would tell them, buckle up and enjoy the ride, because you don't know what's coming around the next corner. You have to be willing to learn on a regular basis. You have to be willing to adapt. Don't pigeonhole yourself into one specific area. Try to learn several so that you have, that different perspective that you can bring to the table that a lot of other people wouldn't have. There's definitely opportunities across the board. AI may change some of the entry-level things, but, getting in the door and really focusing on things that are important to you, learning. And I think also, there's a real need to have people that can write the prompts for AI and really guide it so that you're getting both what you need out of it, quantity, quality, and ethical content. So I think that's going to be a growing thing as well, and start to look into that as well and see how you can shape and grow in that development skill.
Well, if you look at your background, 25X years, you've seen a lot of transformation, as anyone would, over a 25-year period. Given the speed of light that we're moving at, it's probably equal to 50 years. Mm-hmm. But what about the fact that what you bring to the table is incredible domain business expertise, right? Because you've seen so many different kinds of clients.
Right.
What do you tell a young person, or someone who's just graduated from university, not necessarily young, but, someone who's matriculated and studied? What do you advise them? Because it's easy for AI to sort of give you information, but if you don't have perspective, you don't know how to cull that information in terms of using it.
I mean, I think AI as a tool is a great thing, but it's not the answer to everything. It shouldn't be a replacement. You still need to have that human interaction. You still need to have that human touch and guidance to make sure, not only are you getting the emotional connection at the end of the day, but it's the right content and the right approach, right information to be putting out there. So I would say, don't be scared of AI. Definitely embrace it. But again, it's a tool, not a replacement for everything else that's going on. And you just have to learn, where does it fit in.
Some sound thinking right there. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I worry about. For people who don't understand, they can say this is a workflow, this is an agent, and yet they don't even understand the business. And I want to make sure that young people, whether they go to school or not, that they get exposure to the problems that people are trying to solve.
Yeah, I think definitely, internships are definitely key, because you really can get in that door and start to see how, people that have been in the business for a long time are really doing it and embracing AI. But again, it's not doing everything for them. I think, mentoring people is key. I think definitely in this remote environment and people that, there aren't as many entry level, having mentors is really key, because they can give you that guidance and that knowledge from other experiences, and you can bounce ideas off of them or suggestions, or, hey, how would you handle this?
Right.
And I think that's really important to continue going forward.
Mm-hmm. And so your clients are just of all shapes and sizes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So your teams really get exposed to all kinds of businesses.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the one thing that's important to remember is, we're not experts in everything.
Right.
Our clients are the experts in their business, so we always start with their expertise, and then we add our expertise and our strategy and data and everything else on top of it to build on that. We don't come to them and saying, hey, this is exactly what you should do, because we don't know their business, and we have to learn their business and get information from them. And that's really the starting point, and that's really key. Otherwise, you're just kind of talking at someone. You're not working and partnering with them.
That was Michelle O'Neill from Brunner, reminding us that staying curious, adaptable, and human is the best way to thrive in the age of AI. You can learn more about Brunner's work at brunnerworks.com and find more conversations just like this on TechVibe Radio and 10-Minute Tech Talks. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow, share, and keep on building what's next.